Uh, Alright, y'all, what is up? Oh my gosh. I am so excited to be here making this video for the Pisces new moon. Um, I just want to shout out everybody who has been really feeling this big energy. It's been an insane weekend for me, kind of like tapping into the collective shifts that are going on. But this moment right now with this Pisces new moon really feels like the opportunity for a quantum leap, like a timeline shift. And we are all in the power to do that right now, and it's depending on if we are courageous enough to make a different choice, make a different decision. You know what I mean? One that is a choice or a decision that exists outside of the current restriction or limitation that you feel like you're facing. You know what I mean? And we're gonna get into this. There's a lot here with this Pisces new moon, but the biggest kind of message or feeling that I've been getting is this like molting period or this shedding. You know what I mean? Like I feel like this is a quiet like revolution, a quiet release point that's really happening on the inside. But you know, depending on the choices that you make from here, like the external like shift, it's almost immediate. Like it's really immediate. It's really fast to see the external shift that occurs when you decide to make the internal shift. And I'm telling you, this is the moment to quantum leap. This is the moment to really shift your timeline and experience a new life, one that is actually in line with your dreams and how you desire to feel, you know? So yes, this molting period, this feeling of shedding an old skin, breaking through an old shell of your identity. And I think one of the interesting things that might be hard to process for a lot of people is this fact that you have been the one that has been creating this restriction, you know, or upholding it, I should say, because, you know, there's definitely some type of past influence, past trauma that has kind of made you put up this shell or this armor, right? It was for protection, but what you don't realize now is that, you know, this way that you've been protecting yourself has also been keeping you at a distance from actually being satisfied and actually being fulfilled within your life, you know? So, I want to get into the messages for this new moon, but first I want to bring forward the Barbie Oracle card that I pulled. It was the Styling Brushes. And we're going to read this, and after I after I put through the message that I got with the tarot, we're going to pull another Oracle card from the Animal Spirit at the end. But I want to start with this one. Styling Brushes. So it says, working through the tangles of life can be hard and sometimes painful, but it's always worth those ow moments. When Barbie plays hard, her hair often pays the price. Hopefully you didn't take scissors to her hair as a kid, but if you did, well, you're not alone. Thankfully, Barbie has a handy dandy plastic brush nearby to help her sort through the tangled spots after a long day. The same principle applies when you're going through a rough patch. It's easy to tie yourself in knots over a problem, but if you go slow, those snarls should work themselves out in no time. And so, this is really bringing up kind of this energy of resistance, you know, and a lot of people trying to like brute force their way through it. That only makes it worse. You know, you're going through a rough patch right now, but if you really slow down, really relax into what you're feeling, I promise you, you will understand how to kind of move through these resistance and kind of like move through the knots. Because to be completely honest, the knots that are coming up, the resistance that is coming up is from your own logic, it's from your own mind. Let's get into the tarot messages that I pulled here. I've got 2 rows of tarot cards, and then I clarified them with my own cards that I made. And this first row is kind of coming up with this 2 of Pentacles in the reverse, the Moon card, and the Emperor card in the reverse, right? So the Two of Pentacles, this is definitely going back between two directions, two paths in regards to how you're building towards your long-term goals. You know, there's two like practical or applicable ways that you can kind of build towards, and kind of they exist on different like value planes or like systems of belief, right? And I like the reversal here because this is literally this energy of fully committing to one path, one direction, right? I cleared this, or I clarified this with my card here. It says, "What are we doing here?" which is the Justice card. I love the Barbie card. I know the Barbie is really good. So we have the Justice card on top of this Two of Pentacles in the reverse, where the Justice card is really about those contracts that we have. Hello, Nard O'Hearn, 1994. I filmed these live on Twitch, so if there are people talking, call you Leo. Okay, hello, Leo. So yeah, we have this Two of Pentacles in the reverse and the Justice card. So with this decisions, or these two kind of paths that we've been trying to decide what to choose in regards to how we're building towards our goals, like they are really based off of these contracts that we feel obligated to, right? With the Justice card, it really reminds me of kind of this idea of like the terms and agreements. And so with whatever relationships or whatever contracts that you have, you know, whether that's family, business, friends, anything like that, there is kind of an agreement that you have, and both parties kind of have to uphold, you know, what you have discussed in regards to how this relationship functions, how this kind of partnership functions, right? The big question that I have to put forward with this is, when it comes to your decision making and what goals that you decide that you want to build towards, are you choosing based off of an expectation that you feel like you have to meet, or are you choosing based off of meeting the truth of yourself, like the truth of your feeling and what you want to do, right? Because the next card that we have is this Moon card, and I clarified this with my Sleepwalking card, which is also the Moon card, you know? So we got this double moon kind of moment where there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of shame, there's a lot of past like hurt that causes us to, you know, kind of fear what is on the other side of making a decision that is outside of the norm, right? Outside of what you know you're gonna get from that. One thing that I want to say with this Moon card being clarified by the moon is that, you know, I've been getting a lot of prominent dreams lately, like so many big messages coming through in my dreams. I feel like every night I've been kind of focused on a particular person, and in the mornings after that, I'll just like get up and pull some cards just to kind of sort through what was supposed to be there or what is trying to be communicated to me. And this is really what's happening for a lot of us, you know? Like, we are in Pisces season. We have a big Pisces stellium, which is really one of the, I guess, archetypes of this Moon card. It's your dreams. It's your intuition. It's that subconscious, energetic stuff that comes up and it wants to be acknowledged, right? And it's in direct kind of conflict, or it's there to be contrasted with your mundane personal decisions. You know, you're having a hard time really feeling comfortable or understanding exactly which way to go, what is practical or logical or reasonable to build towards. And there is expectation that I feel like a lot of us are trying to sort through logically, when you really are needing to just, you know, meet the truth of what your feeling is, meet the truth of what is coming up for you deep inside that, you know, is causing you to question which way to go. You know, kind of with this metaphor or analogy of molting, when you think of like crabs, there's two main ways that this is coming up in my mind, where some crabs, like, they molt their shell, and then the new like soft body, they settle into that, and that becomes their new home. And then there's like hermit crabs who are growing, and they are outgrowing the current shell that they live in, but they don't leave that shell, or they fear leaving that shell until they have found another home that is large enough to encompass what they're becoming. And so, you know, the question is, like, where are you? Like, what kind of crab are you? Are you this crab where you're molting, you know, an old skin to settle into the truth of what is expanding within you? Or are you this hermit crab where you can feel this truth that's growing within you, and you feel this shell of your old identity suffocating you, like squeezing you, but you're too afraid to leave that because you don't know, or you don't know if there is another shell that, you know, can hold this way that you're growing, right? Are you gonna let that crush you? Because at the end of the day, it's your choice to stay within that. And, you know, once again, I feel like it is based off of this past trauma, past fear of, you know, how that authentic kind of part of you, or those authentic directions or desires, choices, were not honored. They weren't safe to be. And so you've protected them, but you've kept them protected for way too long, to this point where now everything that you build towards just feels fake. You know, it feels just like, it feels empty because your authentic need is not being met, right? We then go into this Emperor card in the reverse, being clarified with the Eye of the Storm, which is the King of Cups in my cards. And so this is really about your autonomy. This is about your sovereignty. This is about being able to assert yourself and move in a direction that is completely based on your own personal will, and you know, creating a life and moving towards a path that is completely on your own terms, right? I definitely see a sense of restriction, or feeling restricted, in kind of just being yourself and being able to, you know, stand on business in regards to what you want. But clarifying this with this King of Cups is really interesting to me because, one, the Emperor is kind of like the archetype of divine masculine energy, which all the kings in the tarot fall under that, right? So kings and the Emperor, they're wanting to assert something. But this Emperor card in the reverse, it's really saying that you can kind of assert your truth with love, with this King of Cups card, right? You can assert yourself and who you are, and it doesn't make you arrogant, and it doesn't make you selfish, and, you know, people can have their own, like, opinions or perceptions of that, but that doesn't really have anything to do with who you are. You know, I think really what matters, one, with this King of Cups, is that your emotional needs and your emotional truth is being met, and, you know, two, that even through having some type of external resistance, you know, you have the capacity to remain grounded or emotionally regulated, you know, kind of through the waves, through the storm. That's why I call this the Eye of the Storm. It's like the King of Cups has the capacity to navigate through these fluctuating emotional terrain and still hold his center, you know? And this is what we are really being able to align with, being able to tap into, if you meet yourself and meet your truth with love, you know what I mean? And move forward and assert yourself. Use your assertive energy to move closer towards those things that are emotionally satisfying, emotionally fulfilling, and that, you know, touch and nurture your deep needs. Like, I don't know, like, what else can I say? It's like, this is a moment where you are being called to strengthen your energetic container, right? Be able to make the decisions that honor who you are completely, and being able to stand on that even if you get the external resistance, you know, from your, you know, reality. I don't know, I feel like a lot of us, you know, really struggle with that. That's why you kind of have gone through this experience sleepwalking, you know? and kind of outsourcing your decisions to whatever is going to get you the least external resistance. But when you do that, it's like you just don't get what you want. You know what I mean? You never get what you want. You just are subservient. You just are sleepwalking. You just are, you're not living. You know what I mean? So the next row, we've got the Seven of Swords, the Ace of Pentacles, and the King of Swords. So the Seven of Swords, this is really about kind of compartmentalizing your experience and your perception. Can I get a reading after this? So this is going to be for my YouTube, but I'm going to be going live on Instagram after this to do readings for the Pisces new moon, which is the same username. So if you want a reading, definitely follow it to my Instagram. So the Seven of Swords, you know, in regards to your decision making, you've been compartmentalizing, right? Because swords represents your thoughts, your perception, how you make meaning out of your reality. And you're working with the 5 and you're leaving the 2. And why do you leave the 2? Is because the 2 represents kind of the logical or mental stalemate that you have with yourself. Questions for booking with a friend. It is the same name, yes. So that is the reason why we are usually in this Seven of Swords experience, because we are not trying to look at the information that makes us feel emotionally dysregulated. You know what I mean? You're trying not to put yourself in this space where you're fighting your feeling with your logic. And this is being clarified with my Six of Swords in the reverse, which is the let's face the facts card, right? So I honestly really love this combination, because when I see the 7 upright and the 6 in the reverse, that leaves an Ace of Swords, which is clarity, which is logical kind of processing on a like meaningful level. It's like there's no illusions. When I think of the Ace of Swords, like it's almost the complete opposite of the moon energy, where the moon is like kind of hazy and you're kind of trying to swim through these emotions that are bubbling up. But then the Ace of Swords is so clear, it's like you just see it and you're just like, oh, this is what it is, you know? In my deck, the Ace of Swords it's literally just called it's this, because it's just so clear. You just so clearly understand. And so having an Ace of Swords being split up with this 7 and the 6 in the reverse, it's like these kind of truths emotionally that you've been trying to compartmentalize, that you've been trying to, you know, kind of just sweep under the rug. You're ready to look at it, and you're very clear on kind of the perspective that you've been tripping over. You know what I mean? And this particular perspective is directly in line with your values in regards to, you know, how you build towards your goals. What decisions are you making? Are you meeting expectation or are you meeting truth? That is the question that you need to ask yourself moving forward from here on out, you know? Because if you are feeling this resistance within you and you're already, you know, moving closer towards this, making a choice that saves you from having that pressure, you know, you're just trying to meet an expectation. You're not meeting the truth. This feeling that's building up in you is a truth that is asking to be met. So make the choice that is allowing you to meet the truth of what's building in you, you know? We move on to the Ace of Pentacles, right? The Ace of Pentacles, and in the row before we had the Two of Pentacles in the reverse. When you were doing this posturing thing, should I go this way, should I go that way? The reversal is like, hey, okay, I'm ready to drop this. I'm ready to drop one of these options to fully commit in the other direction, right? You're dropping something. We are dropping a path or an option that is not in alignment with what we actually want, right? Because with this Ace of Pentacles, it's clarified by the Five of Wands, what I want. The Five of Wands to me is always like advocating for your own personal need, for your own personal desire. Wands is fire energy. It's all the things that you're passionate about. It's all the things that you want to take action on. And then the Ace of Pentacles is the opportunity. It's the seed that you want to plant. You've been holding two seeds and constantly like juggling back and forth. Do I do this? Do I do that? Should I go this way? Should I go that way? Because your logic, this Seven of Swords, Six of Swords energy, is fighting the emotional truth that's coming up, that you're fully aware of, because this is a King of Cups. So you have complete mastery over your emotional space and complete awareness over what emotional needs are not being met and which ways that you create these boundaries to protect yourself from being hurt. Protect yourself from, kind of the past pain or disappointment, that has past restriction that was put on you, But here's the thing is that now, like, your current experiences, they might not even be putting pressure on you, but you still energetically hold the truth of having yourself restricted, of having somebody restrict you, So you just restrict yourself before you even, see if your reality is going to try to put that on you again. It's playing it safe. It's keeping yourself. It's literally like it's self-sabotage. You know what I mean? It's the inner saboteur. It's I've been hurt in the past and I'm going to block myself from possibly receiving what I want just in case it hurts me again, But you don't know if it's going to hurt you because you're not actually going for it, You're just diminishing, I guess, the possibility of actually being happy, actually being satisfied. But I'm telling you right now, like this Pisces new moon, it's a quantum leap moment. And all you have to do is make a different decision, right? Put down the path that is based off of meeting the expectation with the Justice card, right? And choose the thing that's just what you want. And then I'm telling you, you'll be surprised at how quickly your perception of your life just fucking flips, because you're actually happy and you realize that you had the choice, you had the ability to be happy at any point. You've just been continuing to restrict yourself because you have been in the past and you're afraid of that happening again. But on the flip side of that is that you're afraid of actually having what you want, because what you want is connected to going against the grain, of kind of the expectation. So the last cards that we have in this spread, we've got this King of Swords in the reverse. I love this, and it's being clarified by the Eight of Wands in the reverse, the How I Roll card. And so this is the shift, right? Because I was saying earlier, the Emperor card, which represents the divine masculine, all of the kings in the tarot fall underneath this Emperor. So since we have the Emperor card, this is showing you want to assert yourself. You want to be able to move forward on your own terms and within your own sovereignty. The reversal is showing that, this isn't about trying to steamroll like your truth and your desire, through kind of these systems or restrictions. It's really about moving forward within your emotional attunement, right? The King of Cups is coming upright and the King of Swords is in the reverse. So put the sword down, put the overthinking down, put the trying to make meaning out of every decision that you have to make within a frame of what is rational or what's logical or what is practical. That doesn't matter. What feels good? What's you? You know what I mean? What do you just want? Put the sword down, right? It is a King of Swords, so there is a truth that you have, or a kind of, I don't want to say adherence or attachment, but there is just a logical way of processing your life that you have developed right? That you are needing to flip on its head, because you're not realizing that whenever you are trying to assert this need for clarity or understanding, or doing the right thing onto every decision that you're trying to make, you are blocking yourself from just being in flow. The Eight of Wands, this is flow state. How I roll, this is just moving. So then the second that you put a thought onto it, it's like you're fucking backed up. You are like blocking yourself from the way your energy just wants to move, the way your body wants to go, the way that your kind of fire, passionate, like intuition is telling your body to move. Like you feel yourself moving towards something, and then you're just like, oh my God, wait, if I move to this, then people are gonna think this or whatever. I'm not going to be meeting the expectation of what I'm supposed to be. And then you just end up not happy. You just end up stuck in this thing that you don't even want. Stop talking yourself out of the things that you want. Stop talking yourself out of where your heart and where your body is moving. It doesn't matter what other people think of it. It matters if you feel good. To feel good is to feel God. You don't have to meet an expectation. All you have to do is meet your truth. That's it. So then back to the Barbie message where it was talking about the resistance, right? The same principle applies when you're going through a rough patch. It's easy to tie yourself in knots over a problem. It's fucking King of Swords. You're going to tie yourself in knots because you think that choosing what you want is a problem. Being yourself, you think moving in the way that your energy wants to move is a problem. Why? Because somebody told you in the past that it was a problem. But guess what? That's not the truth. But you don't know that that's not the truth because you've never made a decision otherwise. So this is your chance to make that decision and take a chance on your heart, take a chance on what your body wants and where your energy is naturally flowing to and where your energy is naturally being drawn to. And then watch your fucking perception of reality completely shift because you're no longer suffocating yourself with the weight of these expectations of what you think that you are supposed to be. The Emperor card. This is your identity. This is who you are. Yes, literally, you think being yourself is a problem. So many people think that being yourself is a fucking problem. Let that shit go and just enjoy your fucking life. So we're going to finish off with the animal spirit. Yeah, we'll finish off with the animal spirit, and then I'm going to drop some music that I know is healing and will help people process at this time. Let's see what energy is coming through with the animal spirits for the Pisces new moon. What energy do we need to know, be aware of, or possibly embody at this moment for the Pisces new moon? Whoa. Okay, so we got the moth. All right, let's see what the moth has to say. This is an air energy. Here we go. Moth. Impulsive, hasty, wishful. The moth is sure the grass is greener on the other side. Moth energy is at play when we're attracted to easy solutions or anything shiny and new. This can lead to unfinished projects, disappointment, or burnout. It's helpful to remind moth personalities that life is complex. No matter the illusion, no one is exempt from the trials and tribulations of this great journey. Practice seeing life as an infinite mystery rather than wishing it was easier or different. When in balance, it's enthusiastic and whimsical. When out of balance, it idealizes others and it's jittery. To bring into balance, finish a project. Okay, so the main thing that I'm seeing with this, one, saying the moth is sure the grass is greener on the other side. This is kind of that mental stalemate when you're trying to decide, Should I do this thing that is kind of calling to me energetically, or should I do the thing that is easy, or based off of meeting the standard like expectation, the status quo, right? When you make those decisions that are based on meeting the expectation, it leads to disappointment and burnout. Why? Because you are constantly putting your energy toward this thing that is not actually replenishing you. It doesn't inspire you. It doesn't light you up or get you up out of the day. It's just a contract, And so, like, how long can you continue to be committed to this thing that doesn't make you feel anything, except for tired? I like that it says, practice seeing life as an infinite mystery rather than wishing it was easier or different, because that's exactly what this energy wants us to do. It's continue to move in the direction that inspires you, that moves emotion in your body, and meeting the truth of these feelings, rather than, thinking that life is supposed to be this checklist. If you're just trying to meet a checklist, you're going to miss all the things that are actually meaningful for you. And you'll never know what's meaningful for you because you've never embraced that energetic pull, that energetic call, So I'm telling you right now, this is that quantum leap moment. It's because there is a Uranus contact with this new moon, And the archetype of Uranus in the tarot is the Fool card. So it's the Fool card, but it's also the Tower card. So in regards to these decisions that you're making right now, think of it as choosing the Fool or choosing the Tower, right? Choosing the Fool will be going down a path that, you've never gone down before, but having the faith that the steps or the path will reveal itself along the journey, right? Whereas choosing the Tower is choosing something that you already know that you don't care for, but you're going to build this up on a false foundation until literally you can't handle it anymore, and then it has to come crashing down because it was not built off of authentic passion, authentic joy, authentic interest, or authentic alignment energetically. If you are going to continue to make the same decision right now, I'm telling you, just don't. Just don't. Because all of this energy is about to move into Aries, and Saturn just moved into Aries right now, where, first of all, Saturn does not like being in Aries. And Saturn is also a part of that archetype of restriction, right, and limitation. But it is also like karma. And Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It's fast. If you're making these decisions that are not authentic and are not real, you are going to get the consequence immediately. I promise it's going to blow up in your face right the fuck away, because you won't be able to fucking fake it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm telling you right now, this is the moment to timeline shift with the least resistance, with the least energetic resistance, like, inside of you. Because if you continue to make those old decisions, the shell that you're needing to molt right now, it's going to collapse, or you're just going to completely suffocate yourself, And then you have the Tower, and then you continue to repeat this cycle until you finally decide to do something that's real and authentic. Send me a photo of the moth description, please. Are these posted to YouTube? Yes, these are posted to YouTube. So after I'm done with this, I'll be posting it. Hopefully it's up tonight. But I'm doing a live right after this one on Instagram. So the music for this moment, it's funny because I channeled these same exact songs, or albums I should say, during the Sagittarius new moon months ago. And I was saying, like, the way that the energy is moving and where we're moving towards, like, if you don't do this now, like, things are gonna blow up later, and you're not gonna be able to avoid it. You know what I mean? So, what I wanted to put forward was Paramore. I am telling you guys, if you listen to Brand New Eyes, the album by Paramore, or After Laughter, you know, or you will be feeling exactly the energy of what's going on right now. I guarantee you there will be at least one, if not all of the songs on both of those albums that you are resonating with at this moment. And music is so healing. It really will help you process what is going on right now and kind of just help you find yourself and have the courage to choose yourself, you know, before you're forced to have to find out who you are, because there's no way that you can continue to cling to the old structures. Found a Demon in My Safest Haven. Turn It Off by Paramore. I scraped my knees while I was praying and found a demon in my safest haven. That's what this is. That is what this is. Anyways, y'all sit with that. If you like this, definitely give me a like, subscribe, comment what you are experiencing down below. Share this if you think it'll be helpful for, you know, any of your peoples. Also, I would encourage you to possibly check out my Ko-Fi page, which is, you know, very, very similar to Patreon, and support me there if you are so inclined. Yeah. And I'll see y'all next time. All right. Bye.